Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tangi from Papercrafting Australia. Thank you for joining me for another live Crafternoon Box tutorial. It's Saturday, the 25th of September. I've got to keep reminding myself when I start these lives what day of the week it is, particularly because we've had a public holiday yesterday here in Victoria. So today feels like Sunday. I don't really know what day of the week it is. I don't know where we are. It's a little bit confusing, but I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a lovely week. I actually think it's been 2 weeks since I've seen you guys now because we were going to do one last week, but we got busy packing the September boxes that were finally, we had all of the bits and pieces to go along with it. So they are on their way to you. We're going to do a tutorial today, another one tomorrow. You might need to just catch up once you get your boxes, but they are on the way, and other than one item that is stuck in the post at the moment for October, they will be on their way as soon as they come in as well. So we should get those in time for the October tutorials that will start in 2 weeks time. So we'll do 2 tutorials this weekend for September. Next weekend we'll do another two tutorials, say that fast, and then we'll kick on to October, and there's 5 weekends in October this year, so happy days. We get to fit all of those in, get ourselves back on track before we start the November tutorials, which are for Christmas. So important, exciting news, the Christmas boxes are on sale now. We do have more available than we normally do each month. However, they are going to go fast. November's box, we're going to focus on Christmas cards, and I'm going to show you a bit of a sneak peek of one of the items that are in the kit at the end of the tutorial today, so stick around for that. And then the December kit also will be Christmas based for 3 out of the 4 weeks, just so that we can get those last minute decorations, Christmas bonbons, tags, gift wrap, all of that sort of stuff sorted, ready in time for Christmas. So without further ado, let's get on to our tutorial for today, which we're going to do some split ink blending. So I found a little tutorial. The guys' names, it's Barry and Jay. I've put the link in the comments for you from Mitosu Crafts. They're a funny little couple, crafters. I do watch a few of their things. It was a really long tutorial, and I thought, oh, look, you know, I watched it in fast forward double speed, but it was a really great tutorial to have a look at. So if you get a chance and you want to have a look, go for it. So let's have a look at what is on the desk. I'm also going to switch all of my Facebook feeds and things on so I can see you all and see who's here. And I'm going to jump in here. We've got screens everywhere. We've got Margaret in, Tony's here, Sharon's here. Hi, Mum. Who else is here? Jenny's here. Hi, Jenny. Good day to be inside. Is it rainy and wet where you are? Oh, and Miss Kate Gale's here. Hi, Ollie. Hi, Marie. Who else is here? Paula's here. Awesome. Looks like we've got most of the regular gang. If you're new to the channel, by all means, you know, hit the subscribe button and pop into the chat, say hi, let everybody know where you're from. We always love to kind of find out about some new faces. Yeah, welcome. Kate, yes, you have noticed I do have my new craft room set up. So in the background earlier, there were all of the bits and pieces that are going on for the October kits. Craft room is looking organised, Tony, yes. Don't look at the other side of the craft room is all I'm going to say. Last night I had the 3D printer going, I had the Cricut going, I had my printer going, and I was doing work on the computer and the iPad simultaneously, so there was stuff everywhere. Anywho, this is the card that we popped into your September boxes, so there's also a second one. So this was the backup one from August because we didn't get those in time for the August box. So this one I love is Weekend Forecast, 100% chance of crafting with no signs of cooking or cleaning. And that really sums up my 3-day weekend this weekend. But anywho, that's where we're going with that. Oh, we're a bit out of focus, are we? Paula, hang on 2 seconds. Let's see if this will get us. It's really not. There we go. Maybe that'll. Normally, if I get a. See if this will try and bring it back down. We'll see. You've moved to Facebook, Margaret. Okay, no problems. All right. We'll see how we go. Hopefully, it's not too fuzzy. It is a little fuzzy. Focus not great. All right, hang on. Let's try and fix this up. I am going to. We're gonna I'm going to move something a little bit closer. I'll move this down and then I'll zoom it back out. Let's see if this helps. It does actually spread. Whoop. Watching things nearly fall. How are we looking? Is that looking a little bit better, guys? Yes, no, maybe? Let's see. I think on my screen here it's a little bit better at the moment. Let me know. Sing out better. Thanks, Tony. Awesome. I've got so much height in this room now that I kind of just go a little bit crazy with where I think things should be because I want to be able to see more on my table. So I'll just move things. It's all good. There we go. All right, let's get in and have a look at what we're doing today. So this is the example card that I've made for you all today. Now that I've moved things, it's just a little bit further away to reach. So you'll see we've got the yellow ink blending towards the top and the blue towards the bottom. I've also ink blended the sides here. And I'm going to do a couple of different variations on this today in the tutorial. I'm going to do one that's horizontal. I'm also going to do one that doesn't have the ink blending on the sides but just is on a coloured card base. I also went in and used our stencil to colour just the little flap on the envelope. It just adds a nice little something personal. Oh, your hubby keeps bees, Ollie. That's awesome. Amazing. Well, I think you're going to have fun with this, this kit. So that's what we're going to make today. So what I have on my desk, I've got some baby wipes to wipe off my stencil, wipe off my craft sheet, just so I can clean up the ink that we're going to make a mess with. I've also got just a microfiber cloth. Believe it or not, that one is actually fairly clean. I've got my paper cutter from Couture Creations. Got the all-important tray of inks. Now, this is one of the reasons I was up so late last night, which was 3D printing the latest prototype of my little ink cube holder. And now we've got space between to be able to pick up the little ink pads, the ink cubes. So this will be a product that's coming soon in the shop, so keep your eyes out. I'll let you know when that is ready. I've got double-sided tape and I've got some just normal painter's masking tape from Bunnings. It is quite sticky, so I'm going to show you some tricks on where not to put it on your paper so that you don't tear that. Yvonne Mitchell, first timer. Welcome, Yvonne. Looking forward to seeing what you're up to. Well, Yvonne, I think the team will all say hi in the chat. They'll all make you feel welcome. But we're going to be working on a card today, or a couple of cards. They've made me move my camera today, so I've just got to find my spot. So I've also got here, I'm doing 5x7 inch cards today. So I have put the dimensions in the descriptions. So if you are doing a 5x7 card or an A6 card, there's dimensions there for you. This one was an A6 card, so it's a little bit smaller. So I've got my card bases. I'll make two examples. I've also got a couple of envelopes, and I have got here, so this, I've got two types of cardstock for you. So one is just the regular Craft white smooth cardstock, and this one that you will have noticed, you've got an A4 sheet of cardstock in your kits this month. So you'll notice that one. That is actually the Neenah Solar White cardstock that I was talking about recently. It is super smooth, and you'll be able to feel the difference between those two cardstocks, and we're going to have a look at the different ink blending qualities when we go through and do that. I've got a bit of scrap paper here. It's just for me to put over my ink blending so that I don't get inky fingers on things that I don't want them to be on. We threw in a bit of rickrack ribbon in the colours for this month's kit, so you've got some of that to jazz up your pieces. I have got our cute little embellishments pack for September. So it had yellow sequins, a variety of different ones in here. We've got some little gnomes, there's some little bees, and there are a couple of little greeting blocks. So you've got this Shake Your Honey Maker. I've got Be Wild and Free, and there's another one that says, it's just out of reach, Always Be Kind. So there's a couple of those in your kits for this month, a few bigger and smaller bees and gnomes. So depending on whether you're making a 5x7 card or an A6 card, you might need slightly different sizes there. But I've also brought back the blue sequins from our embellishment pack from August because I just like yellow and blue together, so that's where I went with that. So I'll pop those off to the side. I'm just going to do a bit of a sweep of my workspace. And we've got the awesome stencil. So this is a stencil that we've created at Papercrafting Australia. So it is a vinyl stencil. You can easily wipe it off with a baby wipe, with a damp cloth, and then dry it off with a dry cloth. And you're going to get tons and tons and tons of uses. It's very pliable, so it's easy to kind of stick down and work on your things. And the little kind of separators on the honeycomb, they're pretty strong. So I don't think they're going to go anywhere anytime soon. Also got a couple of blending brushes, which you've got in your kits as well. Some scissors, some tweezers. I was like, what are these called again? And some liquid glue. I've also got a pencil and a ruler that I may or may not use, but we'll see how we go. So let's get into this split ink blending tutorial. So first of all, I'm going to cut my cardstock that I'm going to blend on, and I'm going to cut that down for the 5x7 cards. I'm going to cut that down to 4.5 by 7 inches. So if you already cut this one down, I think, and I've got I've gone and got the cutter that doesn't cut 7 inches. It only cuts 6 and a bit. So I'll just cut this bit of Neenah. That's the 4.5. And then I'll just get my other trimmer. Always prepared. Not prepared today. And cut the 7 inches. Now, if you are working on an A6 card, you're going to need to cut your cardstock down to 8.5 centimetres by 14.7 centimetres. So just if you're working on that slightly smaller scale, shut my doors. Just getting up, moving around the craft room, it's all good. All right, pop those little scraps off to the side. So, these are not, oh yeah they are. It's like these are not the same. All right, so my paper trimmer needs a new blade at the moment, so I'm just going to use my bone folder just to smooth out those edges on that cardstock. Just a little bit. Okay, so on the left I've got the Neenah cardstock. On the right I have the Papercraft White. You'll see that it's they're slightly different colour. Not too much, but they are. Okay, I'm going to get some more things out of the way because I'm going to move this craft sheet. Did I make it on a Cricut? The vinyl stencil, Marie? Yes. Yes, I've cut all those stencils on the Cricut. I love my Cricut. It does so many things for me. But I also love my 3D printer now as well. So look out, there's more things coming off that 3D printer. So first of all, I'm going to just pop some of this tape on the back. I'm just going to double it over, stick it to itself. Just pop that onto the back of my ink blending panels. Whoops, I haven't done that one very well. And I'm going to do this because this one does, it does pull a little bit sometimes on your cardstock, so depending on what it is. But it is really easy to peel off the craft sheet. I'm just going to stick that one down there. I've got Neenah. Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to put a blue bit of tape on the bottom underneath this one. That's the Neenah cardstock. We'll keep an eye on them as we go through. And I'm just going to do the same with the other side, the other piece. So rather than, putting your cardstock this way and then getting a piece of tape and, grabbing a corner or whatever, because we're actually going to be blending right down to the edges, we don't really want to have, a piece of tape in the way. And I also don't want to do one end and have that tape down and then go to peel it up and it's going to peel off some of my my cardstock, and then when you go to blend over it, it's going to be a bit yucky. Okay, Carrie gives her hello. Oh, I hope she's feeling well. I know she's had some medical type things going on. hopefully she's back with us soon. Be nice to see her back. Alrighty, I'm going to get my stencil. I'm just going to place it, actually, one of these I'm going to do lengthways and one I'm going to do horizontal. So we'll work on that. Just because, yeah, Paula, I love that. All right, so what I'm going to do, because I'm one of those people who doesn't like it when patterns don't line up, so I'm going to line up this little hexagon. I don't know if you can see because it's kind of small, but I'm just going to line that up halfway down in this corner, and then when I flip this and I ink blend at the bottom half, I'm going to line that half up with the opposite side, and you'll see why when you join, oops, that's off camera. When you come back in and join these two pieces of card panel together, you'll have the shape will connect up and match. But it's up to you. You might be using a different stencil, or you might be the kind of person who doesn't mind so much. I'm just a bit pedantic about patterns. Oh, I miss Carrie. Carrie wouldn't care about the patterns lining up at all. Bless her, she just goes wherever the craft takes her. So I'm just going to use my piece of scrap paper just to pop over the rest of my cardstock here so that I don't get more ink on there than I wanted to. Got sequins going everywhere, they're sticking to me. I've done a real good job of burning my hand on the oven last week. It's starting to heal, but it's looking a bit vicious. It doesn't hurt as much as it did when I first did it, so it's all good. Lovely. So I've just got my ink cube. So I'm using the Wild Dandelion from the September kit. Just going to pop a little bit on my blending brush, and then I'm going to go in with a really light hand. I'm not going to grab the head of it and scratch it in. I'm just going to hold the handle right at the end and just very lightly start to blend just in a little circular motion just over all of that stencil. I just want a really light covering, particularly towards this end, the center of the panel. I don't want it to be too light down there, but I will go back in and make this edge quite harsh and then blend it down. So just a light covering all the way over. Then I can go back, get a bit more ink, and again, just some more circular motions, just to really blend it around. And away we go. A bit more. And it's up to you how dark, how light. It's something that you will play with. Ink blending is one of those things that the first time you do it, you'll probably be like, oh my God, that's hideous. But the more you do it and the more you get used to your tools and the inks and the paper that you use, you'll find you'll get better and you'll know how to handle it. So I'm just going to stop that there so you can see that we've got darker at the top, a bit lighter towards the middle section. I'm going to take this one off. You'll get a better idea of that there. And I do have this missing section that's here, but that's totally fine. I'll play with that in just a sec. Now I'm going to pop this stencil over here, and I do need to take these tapes off. This is going to be, I'm going to start, I don't need it to be too, hopefully I'm not off, yep, there I am, off the camera. Go a little bit further so I can line that bit of stencil up there. So I'm going to need to replicate this across because it doesn't reach the whole way across a 7-inch width. Paula's got the goods today. Just be yourself. Paula, I love it. I think I need to make some more. It's, you're too funny. All right, and we'll go back in. Just a light little covering to start. And you want to leave quite a bit of white in the middle of both of your card panels. If you're doing two, you might only be doing one. Good on you. You want to just leave that gap, and that's what makes the top and bottom negative space on the card really stand out. And get your eye to really draw into the focus point in the middle of the card panel where you've intensified these colours. So I'm just giving this one a little bit more down here. Right, now we're going to see how coordinated I really am and see if we can get this to match up to one of these panels. So I just really need that one panel there. Stick that down. I'm just going to take this bit of tape off here so it doesn't stick to my card panel. Just replace it over there. So I've just lined up that one honeycomb, and I'll just get the light, whatever's left on my brush. I've got a little bit of fluff going on in there from a baby wipe. A little bit more ink. Oops, there we go. That yellow is so bright. You don't need a lot to go a long way. And what you'll find with using a craft mat like this, so a non-stick silicone type craft mat, is that when I'm done blending, I'll just be able to wipe this with a slightly damp cloth or a baby wipe, and it'll clean everything up real quick, real easy, and then you can just reuse it, dry it off, reuse it. Can't ask for much more than that when it comes to simple. So I've managed to get a nice little bit of blending all the way across there. So I'm just going to take that stencil off. And I'm going to get a baby wipe. Oops. Knocking things all over the place. Get myself a baby wipe. Just give this a little quick clean up. Oops. Maybe on camera would be good. Give that a little wipe. I did actually use one of these and I put it in the sink. I didn't leave it sit in the sink for a period of time. I just gave it a little, just a little rub down with a little bit of dish soap, and that cleaned it up really awesome as well. Don't leave it sitting in water because it may disintegrate from the inside out. But you can certainly, use a bit of water, a bit of baby wipe, and a dry towel, and it'll come up just like new. I'm not going to say that if you use a red ink on it, it's not going to stain it. It probably will, like it stains lots of other things, but see how you go. So now that I've gone and done my stenciling, I'm just going to go in with just whatever's left of this ink that's kind of accumulated on my craft mat. And I'm just going to soften, oops, get my little piece of paper back because, I'll end up putting inky fingers all over things. So I'm just going to use that little bit of ink just to fuzz out those lines that were made by the stencil. So they're still there, but they're just a little bit softer. And of course, now I'm going to shake everything. And then I'm going to darken that edge, just the edge. I want that to be quite dark because that's where you start to get the real solid effect when you match and butt this one up against the blue, the dark. It's just so relaxing, just doing some blending. And you can use any colours you like. I mean, this is yellow and blue because, that's kind of the theme of what we were doing this month with little bees. But you can do anything. It's really, ink blending's just mix and match. I'm listening to Ben giggling. He's listening to a podcast out in the lounge room or in his office or something. Hoping you can't, hoping you can't hear him. He has a bit of a maniacal chuckle that goes on. It's a real honey. Don't worry, be happy. Paula, what have you been drinking today, Paula? I mean, it's a long weekend, so, I'm not going to grudge anyone a drink. And it's grand final day. Are we, is anybody a Demons or a Doggies supporter? Do you have stakes in the game today? I don't, because I'm an Essendon supporter, so we miss that. Once again, nowhere near getting anything for that. All right, just a little bit more. Just making that quite dark. Beautiful. So I'm finished with my yellow on that end. Now I'm just going to put this brush out of the way because I don't want to come back in and use blue on my yellow brush. Alrighty, and you might be able to see from the two panels. So this one being, this is the Neenah cardstock. We've got a really smooth ink blend going on. This one, which is the Craft, you can see it's quite speckly, and it's the grains of the or the fibres in the paper that are just kind of sucking and holding onto that ink a little bit more, whereas this one is smoother and it really is blending to be, you know, quite smooth, and you don't have to be a great blender to be able to get a good effect on this paper. So I highly recommend it if you can get your hands on some Neenah. I'm going to be trying to get some into the store fairly soon, so I'll let you know when we get that in, but it is just amazing. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to go in on this side and just get my stencil in place. Got my two little bits of sticky off here. I like to reuse my tape where I can. It's only a little bit of tape, but you know, if I use a little bits of tape, it all adds up. Actually, I probably want this to be a little bit lower down. Just so, only because on the horizontal panels there's not a lot of room to work with when you want to take that, make that big white open space. Now be careful with this blue raspberry ink, it is very, very vibrant. You thought the yellow was vibrant, this blue will knock your socks off. And I'm sure you all found that when we were doing things in the August kit. It didn't take much, a little went a long way. Just going to reposition that stencil because it's just come loose a little bit. Try and get a little bit darker along this edge. Hard when you're working on such a small kind of little bit of panel, just to be able to get the control. Particularly such a big brush. You'll find it easier with the smaller brushes that have come in the kit. And they are really awesome for being able to get into all the little midget spots in amongst these pretty intricate dies, stencils. You know what I mean? The Neenah. The Neenah cardstock, N-E-E-N-A-H. Right, where do we want to go here? Take that bit off there. I'm just going to use just the residue that's left on the brush and just a really light hand just to start this section off. It's Princess of Pun. Oh my God, Paula, tell me that you've got a t-shirt that says that. Oh, Princess of Pun. I like it. I used to work with a girl called Ellie who was mad keen on a pun. She's very, very good at them and never let an opportunity go past. She had good timing, good comedic timing. Maybe match a real honey. Oh gosh. So I don't think we've got any football supporters for this weekend, so that's interesting. I've got some sausage rolls, some frozen sausage rolls that I'm looking forward to having as part of my grand final weekend. Oh wow, look what I managed to do there. I managed to do that perfectly. That's not what I meant to do, and I'm going to have to unperfect it, but that's okay. I'll swing it around and pop this one down here. Now, as I said before, where I've got this half hexagon in the top left-hand corner, I want to match that up with the bottom right-hand corner so that my pattern matches up on the midline in my card. A bit of a light brush over to get the excess off. Yeah, absolutely fantastic cardstock for ink blending, Just super smooth, very much like the Gina K cardstock, her white cardstock. Just, I don't know what they've done with the fibres, but it just is really, really, really smooth, which just makes everything look better in blending world. If you're blending a sunrise or a sunset type card or a rainbow even, just sensational. All right, there's my little bit for the bottom. So I'm just going to wipe off my stencil, which I'm doing off camera because I've moved everything. I'll remember to keep my camera a little bit closer down. Apparently it's a nicer quality, bit more in focus. All right, I'm going to give that a proper clean a little later on. So I'm just going to pop it off, not over there because I'm going to use that in a bit. I do have a new phone, so I am going to be able to upgrade my camera very, very soon, which will be good. Just going to go in over these blues and just smooth out the gaps in that honeycomb. I mean, what would be really cool with this too is using two different types of stencils, one at the top and one down the bottom. It'd almost be like if you had the honeycomb at the top and then like an oozy pattern down the bottom. That would be really cool. It's like the honeycomb turning into honey. That'd be groovy. All right. Make this bottom edge just a little bit darker. It's got a nice dark crisp line down there. It really sets it off when you put them back to back. I'm going to go just turn my sheet sideways so that I can blend easier. That whole, oops, daisy, that was a bit much. But you know what? Blending's forgiving because it's like you don't know that that's not how that was meant to be. No one knows. I could just blend for hours. I could just watch TV or listen to a podcast and just do ink blended card fronts. You'd probably get a bit bored with me if that's all I did on my tutorials. But I could just go for it. Okay, that's that done. Oh, I'll leave that there because that's the Neenah cardstock. But I am going to want to take these panels, and I know which is which now because we've got the portrait shape card is the Neenah cardstock and the landscape card is the Papercrafting cardstock. So that's all good. So I'm just going to pop those out of danger zone and just wipe off this craft mat before I put my envelopes on there to give them a little bit of a colour boost. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen, but there is also a baby wipe stamp tutorial, which we might do at some point. But essentially, I've kind of just started the process here by inking up my baby wipe as a stamp pad. I wouldn't encourage using it just like that, but you could. Let's give that a little bit of dry off. Shall I do one yellow and one blue? I need a bigger piece of paper. All right. I'm just going to use this little piece of paper just to keep the edge of the rest of the envelope covered and protected. I'm going to get my stencil, which I cleaned off and put somewhere else. Which way do I want to go? Like this. Just line it up and then just blend it. go yellow for this one. I feel like I've got a little bit of blue still left in there, so we might end up with a slightly green honeycomb, but we'll see how we go. Just a little bit. You can do this as, where's it gone? Here. Hard or as soft as you like. You can make it come back. You know, a little bit patchy. It's just an embellishment for the back of your envelope. That's that one. Give this a bit of a wipe. Now I'm going to be giving everybody a chance to win the cards that we are creating in the tutorials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through. There is an online tool that does it for you, but for some reason it just hasn't connected up properly and worked for me today. But what it will come down to is if you've made a comment in our YouTube feed today, you'll go into the draw to win a card. And then what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to go from the bottom. I'm accumulating a lot of cards and leftovers from my kits. So when I launch next month's kit, which will be the Christmas kit for November, and that'll be launched on the 30th of this month. So tune in on Thursday night at 8 o'clock for that one. I'm actually going to give away one card from each of the weeks. So I make 2 cards at least each week. So one an example and one that I do during the tutorial. So you'll get 4 cards or 4 projects, and you'll also get whatever was left over in my box that week. So that could be extra embellishments, it could be cardstock, patterned papers, all the rest of it. So all you have to do to enter that is just write a comment. Oh, you want to see the envelope that I just did? Where should I put it? Over here. There we go. How's that, Margaret? All good? Be really cute to, you know what? Stick a little bee on the back. And then you can write the address on. That'd be really cute. I like it. All right. I'm going to do this one, but I'm just going to do what I did on my example one, which was to just go from the bottom of this little flap. I'm just going to mask that, get my little blue honeycomb going on. Just when I think I'm done with cleaning off this stencil, I go back in and mess it all up again. You can do this with any stencil. You can do it with any stamp. Just jazz up your envelope. You know, you might want to put a little bit of stenciling on the front bottom corner of your envelope, wherever you like. I just think it's cute to kind of, you know, make it a bit different from, you know, your regular envelopes that you get in the mail. Don't talk to me about getting mail at the moment because Australia Post is still jerking me around. So one of the items for October, everything else is here, but the pattern papers and the dies, they're all ordered. They're in a box. They're on their way to us, but they left express post from our supplier in South Australia, Paper Rose, literally the day that they were ordered, Friday week. And they have literally sat there for a week, and I got a message on yesterday, from Australia Post saying, "Hi, just letting you know your mail's been delayed." It's like, yeah, but it's express post. How/why is that delayed? Like, what is going on at Australia Post right now? I don't know if anyone works for Australia Post or knows someone who works for Australia Post, but my goodness, it's a frustrating thing. They lost a parcel with, interestingly enough, our Christmas design paper. So they lost that, and we have not got our mail redirection. We have not got our mail hold. So we put all our mail on hold here at the new house before we had a letterbox. So after multiple online messages where they only ever follow up half of what you asked for, so I was like, I've got a parcel missing, I've got a mail redirection that we haven't received any mail from, and I've got a mail hold, which has ended at the end of August and still isn't here. Can you please look into it? And I get back, we can't locate the parcel. I'm like, yeah, okay, but you can't locate the parcel. What about the mail hold? And what about the mail redirection? Like, can you answer 3 of my questions, not just one of them? I have gotten myself real grotty today. Just giving my fingers a bit of a clean because I don't know that I'm gonna. Yeah, Marie, don't. They're just frustrating. So anyway, so I finally got a guy on the phone on Thursday, and I said, look, because when you ring them at the moment, it says if you're waiting on urgent medication or something else, I can't remember what the other thing is that they ask. You know, please push this number. For everyone else, please contact us online. It's like, I've already done that. Ugh. And it took you 2.5 weeks to get back to me, and I still don't have an answer on my question. So anyway, finally got a person, and they said to me, let me look into this for you. And they rang the local delivery centre, and they found that I had 14 letters and a parcel, which was the missing patterned papers for Christmas that I've now got a second copy reprinted and sent because they've lost it. But now they've found it. So I don't know what's going on there. But we've also only got our mail up to the middle of August. Everything that's been sent to us after August is still MIA. So stay tuned. Let's get ready to put these cards together. So what I'm going to do is chop this panel. I'm not going to chop it in the middle. I'm going to, just to kind of lower the midline down a little bit. You can chop it wherever you like. If you want to make a half and half cut, that's totally fine. So I'm going to chop this in the white section a little bit closer to that blue section. And then for my horizontal, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I just need to see where my blue ink blending kind of finished. This one's going to be a little bit more 50-50-ish. Oh. Well, I didn't do a good job of lining that up, but that's okay. Never mind. Things happen. All right. Now for my white card, I'm also going to do kind of like what I did on this one, which was some ink blending down the side. Now I just measured roughly where they were going to overlap, and then I just ink blended, the 2 segments either side. For this one though, because I'm doing it horizontally, and what I want to do is just colour these tops and bottom sections here. Just going to get my yellow. This is the fold, the top fold. I'm just going to run, doesn't have to be anything beautiful. Just going to put some ink along here. So yeah, look, I'm done with Australia Post. I do send as much as I can for Papercrafting Australia through Sendle that use Couriers Please, and they use a couple of other partners, but they don't deliver to PO boxes. And some of their delivery spots are considered what they consider remote, which basically means it's 20 k's out of a town or something like that. So it sometimes pops up being something like $35 for delivery of something that Australia Post will deliver for $9 or $12 or something. So we don't always get to make the choice. But if anyone knows of a company who does some remote-ish deliveries, or if anyone currently gets their subscription delivered to a post office box and would prefer to update their address to a residential address, we might be able to bypass Australia Post for you. So sing out and let me know, because I'm a bit done with them to be honest. I'm just going to go back in the bottom of here and just blend some blue along. A standard size card to the UK is $3.50. Anything over standard size will be $14. Holy heck, Marie. Do you have family in the UK that you send a lot of things to? I'd be sending a box. Just being like, here's your birthday cards and your Christmas cards for the next 5 years. Now, I'm not worrying at the moment, guys, about fingerprints in here because I know I'm going to cover that with a panel. I'm just giving this a bit of love. We are at their mercy. It's very unfortunate. Paul says they delivered a $100 Lego to a completely different address and signed for. Then they said they'd get it back, but they didn't. Finally told to claim it from the store. I bought, oh my God. That's what they told me to do the other day. So when I put in delivery is expected between Tuesday and Friday. Okay, that's cool. Gets to Friday, it's not delivered. Oh, you need to wait 5 business days after the expected delivery date before you can lodge a claim. So you wait another 5 days and then you finally get to lodge a thing and you don't hear about it for 2.5 weeks. So I contacted the company that did the printing for us and they were like, yeah, look, this happens from time to time. We'll put in a claim and we'll reprint. They had no problems. They were absolutely fantastic. They said, no worries, we'll reprint it and we'll send it to you, which they did. So on Thursday, when I found out that there were things at the post office to collect, I went down and picked them up and was like, oh, here's one of the packets of paper. But it was the one that was missing. So they've compensated the business and they've reprinted and resent. So on Friday, I received a second copy of that print job. So we now have double the amount of papers. So I did get a bit of a win out of it, I suppose. I kind of only paid 50%, but the heartache and the pain in the backside kind of isn't worth it. So I'm just going to adhere these panels. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a section at the top. And I found this little trick on a video the other day, guys. If you've put your panel on, flip it over, give it a smooth from the other side. Then you don't have to wipe across your blended panel. I thought that was fun. Never seen that before. Oh, dot, dot, dot. Get a bit of glue out. Would be good. Now I'm just using liquid glue on this one instead of my usual double-sided tape because it gives me the ability to wiggle it a little bit just to get things to line up into the right spot, etc. So all you're doing there is just matching, lining it up on the sides, on the end. There we go. That's that one. Now I decided to try one on just a plain card base, just for fun. System is the same. Just match up the 2 coloured blends in the middle, and away you go. Doesn't look so bad. I mean, we could have used the brighter yellow Craft cardstock with the wild dandelion ink just to match it up a little bit better, but I think the daffodil coloured cardstock does actually mellow it out a little bit because it is quite bright and vivid otherwise. Sending your friends cards for family and Christmas too. Yeah. Yep, send everything at once by the sounds of it. Looks like the best way to deal with Australia Post. And I mean, it's not fair that people are considered, remote or rural. I mean, people who are remote and rural really need contact. And I know we can do a lot on the internet and things like that, but nothing more personal than getting a nice, thoughtful card or a handmade card or a written letter in the mail. Because someone's thought long and hard. It's not been a quick little, oh, I might ring Sally and, bang, on the phone. Off you go. Oh, I've just given myself a paper cut. That's always good. Whew. Cardstock cut. It's worse than a paper cut. Alrighty. So we've got those two bases. Now we need to do a little bit of decoration. Let's think. Shake Your Honey Maker needs to go with a gnome, I reckon. Do you know what would be really cool is having him on a wobbler. So it just sits up and jiggles. That would be shaking your honey maker, I reckon. Be able to put him there and then pop that up. That would be cute. Now this one's got a bit of a blemish on it. Got this one. Be Wild and Free. Ooh. Did get a good chop out of that. Out of that paper cut. What's that? Oh no, it was a gift for your grandson. Oh, Paula, that's upsetting. Oh, I'm glad Big W looked after you. Oh, Tony, I don't have bills on. I don't. Yeah, I get them all electronically, so I don't miss them. Whew. Don't want to do that. Oh, I've got something to show you guys at the end of this today. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of something from the Christmas box. One of the Christmas boxes, anyway. I just looked over and saw them and was like, I get to share that. It's exciting. All right, bit of, push this up, see what I'm doing. It's a bit of double-sided foam tape for this. Good. I thought I'd gone pretty long today, but actually we're pretty much on time. Yeah, thanks, Paula. I hope my cut will be, look at it, it's already bleeding. Just a little one though. I'm just in the wars at the moment. Not bad enough that we're locked down. It's I'm kind of getting used to lockdown. That's a bit, it's kind of becoming normal. And that's a little bit sad and a little bit scary. Because the next step for me is, as we reopen, how do you know who's double vaxxed or not? How do you know who you want to? How do you know who you want to hang around with? Oh, I get it, Paula. Hope the cut will be better soon. Yep, she's onto it. She's our resident pun princess, everybody. All right, let's pop this one up as well. And we'll pop a little bit of bling on and we'll be done. Do you know what I haven't done any, I haven't put any ribbon or rickrack on, but I mean, you could certainly do that as well. I like to do a little bit of a line, but because this is like the split ink blending, I would normally put a line of ribbon across somewhere underneath my greeting, but I don't want to impede that cool blended design that we've got going on, so not going to do it today. Mr. B, you can pop up there. Cool. And then shake a few of these out and see what I can find. I do like these little darker ones. The lighter ones where it's lighter and the darker ones where it's darker. We all have a little bit of a method to our madness, don't we? And some yellow ones. Similar kind of thing. And let's pretend that sequin is like that's the gold that the bee's heading for. I don't know if that's how bees work. I mean, it's like pollen, that's what it's heading for. It's the pollen. There we go. A couple of blue guys under here. Blue guys would be Smurfs, wouldn't they? Oops, upside down. We all know where it's going to end up. A bit there. These cute little ones. Tinkle in there. Oh, need some yellow ones. Something like that. So I'll glue those down when we're off camera and we're good to go. So that is the split ink blending technique. We've got our little envelopes to go with those. Tuck them in down here. So yeah, I hope that technique comes in handy for you. I know a lot of people love a good bit of ink blending. So yeah, go forth and use every stencil or every stamp or embossing or whatever it might be, and have fun with that technique, because it does really come up a treat with any colours and any combinations that you want to choose. I'm just reading back through just a few of the Facebook comments, sorry, YouTube comments. One in every crowd. Paula could be the card winner this month. She could be. Off to get knee replacement on Monday, Paula. Lucky it's not my funny bone. Oh gosh. Card making has been a sanity saver with all this lockdown. I don't know if you're sane anymore, Paula. You're definitely one of us. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to show you a little sneak peek of one of the items that is going to come in your November kits for the Crafternoon box. So they're our Christmas kits, or the start of the Christmas kits. We're going to have November and December's kits will have a lot of Christmas goodies in them. So the first thing I'm going to sneak peek to you is alcohol blending pens. So alcohol ink markers. They have, we're going to give them to you. We're going to give you a red one, a yellow one, and a green one for Christmas. How's that? These are absolutely fantastic markers to colour with. They have a bullet end. So the, I don't know if you can see that particularly well. Maybe against my hand, I don't know. Nice, hard, firm, nib to write with. But they also have a brush end, which gives you a really nice calligraphy kind of motion, or if you're wanting to colour in larger areas. So we are going to have those alcohol ink markers in the November kits. Those kits are on sale now. There's tons more goodies that are going to be packed in there, so more than we would normally have, and we're going to have plenty of papers and lots of fun things for you to make and do for your cards, Christmas cards, and also then for projects to decorate your house and your Christmas table. So stay tuned. We are going to be launching that on the 30th of this month. So please jump back in and see everything that you've got. Those who are already subscribed, you don't need to worry. Your kits are already reserved. It's only if you're a new subscriber or you're wanting to jump on the bandwagon for the Christmas time that you'll need to secure your kits as soon as possible, because they are limited. So once they're gone, they're gone. We can't fill any more. But thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow at 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. We're only a couple of weeks away from hitting daylight saving time, guys. So just beware. I'm going to, at some point, need to keep us posted on those. I've got lots of inky fingers to go and clean up, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow if you can make it. If not, I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.